you can see here a one-pager where you get informations about the text styles for the colored color, the colored font face. You get some informations about the colors you are using in your JSON theme, because the colors you can see here are the colors you can also find again in your theme. If you go in here, so you will see that the data colors, these ones here are exactly these 8 colors, and the good, the neutral, and there should be also somewhere the bad here are these 3 colors. So this is really a visualization of your JSON file. And here you can search for some chart types. At the moment, I'm working with the client who needs a JSON file for the company to guarantee that all the dashboards they are using are consistent and have the same look and feel. But if you talk to non-technical people, it can often be very hard to explain them what's in the JSON and where to find things. This is why I decided to visualize the JSON files we are using to make him able immediately to look up the values and the colors we are using and to understand what's written in the code. And this is what I will show you today: how to visualize your JSON and make it more accessible for customers, for clients, or for anybody else who is using your Power BI file. So let's jump into Power BI and I will show you what we are doing today. So this is how the result will look like of today's work. You can see here a one-pager where you get informations about the text styles for the colored color, the colored font face. You get some informations about the colors you are using in your JSON theme, because the colors you can see here are the colors you can also find again in your theme. If you go in here, so you will see that the data colors, these ones here are exactly these 8 colors, and the good, the neutral, and there should be also somewhere the bad here are these 3 colors. So this is really a visualization of your JSON file. And here you can search for some chart types. I will show you this now with the clustered bar chart. And for the clustered bar chart, we say that the category axis is showing, so it's true. That the labels are bold, this is false, so they are not bold. That the font size is 10, and that the chart labels are showing, and that the value axis is also not showing because it's a false for the show. And I will show you how this looks like. It is looking like this. So these were the definitions we have been looking at the moment. And if we have a look here, this is a clustered column chart. So you can go to the next page and look up the settings for the clustered column chart. And for the clustered column chart, you will see that the category axis is showing. The chart labels are not bold. The font size is 7. The chart labels are showing, so the data labels, and the value axis is turned off. What you can see here, because I usually do not like showing this axis, I like more to put the data labels on it. And this is what we will build today, this page where you can look up the properties of your visuals. And the first thing I want to show you is how to create your JSON themes, because I do not create them from scratch. This is much too extensive. So to create a JSON theme, I usually use this web page because it's pretty good to get a starting point. And here you can set your colors, and then you can download the theme. So you can also go here and you can even choose colors from colors.io. So you can click here, and then you need here the colors website code. So if you go to the website, go and explore, and let's say we want to have this color palette, then you can say copy URL and put it in here and apply colors. And you can see immediately that this color palette is applied to your preview. And then you can download here the generated Power BI theme by putting in your email, and the theme will be sent to you via email. I created this theme with the Power BI theme generator, and then I put it into Power BI to read it out. Importing the JSON is pretty easy. You go to the Home tab, go to Get Data, select More, search for a JSON, select the JSON, connect, and select your JSON theme you want to visualize. And then you can see here the JSON theme. The first thing we will do is we will unpivot this table. We will select the name column, go to transform and unpivot other columns. Then we will remove the name column because we do not need it anymore later. And then we can see we get here a full list with attributes. The problem we have now is that we have to expand some values, and some values are already expanded. So for now we will add here a 1, that we know that this is the first table. And what we will do here now is we will extract all the values that are not a list and not a record. I asked ChatGPT for that to give me a code that can do that, because I do not do that so often. So I go to the Home tab, go on Advanced Editor, and insert this step as the last step. So I add here a comma, paste the code ChatGPT gave me, and have to give it a name. So I will remove list and record. And this is a table, so the selected rows. The previous step name is the name of the removed columns. I have to put in here, and it will be removed every value that is not a record and that is not a list. And I have to make sure that I reference here the last step. So I will copy it in and click on done. And now you can see I get only a list with values, where all the values in the value column are already a text. I will here filter for all non-blanks, and here I have an information about text classes and about color definitions. Then we will duplicate this query and name it 2. And here we will change our settings, because we will say we want to keep all the list entries. So we will have to go to the Advanced Editor and change the last step, because we will say here each value is a record or a list. Click on done. And now you can see you have all the list values in here. The list values can now again be expanded. What we will do here, we will say expand to new rows. And then you can see that we will get some records and we will get some data colors. What we will do now is we will duplicate again the theme, go back to the second copy and remove here again in the last step all the rows that have record written in. We did that before, so we go to the Home Advanced Editor and just copy out these steps. So we will go by that, copy it. We will have to rename it because we cannot have 2 steps with the same name. So I will just add on again here. I have to change the previous step because this is the previous step. And I have to change the last step by copying this over. Then I click on done. And it did not work because I have to remove this comma here. Then I click on done. And we only have the records which we did not want to have. So now it should work. The strange thing is we still have the records. So we have to go back and change this to an end. And now the records are also gone, and we will also deselect the blanks. And then I have here the data colors. So you can see from table 1 and table 2, this are the colors and the text classes. So I will append these two tables. I will go to the first table, go on append queries, and will append the second query we created. And now you can see here I have all the color definitions and all the text classes, and I will rename these in text classes and color definitions, which is the table we will use later and is more or less the same like this. So we do not need table 2 later, and now we will go on with table, let's call it 3. And in table 3, you can see that we also have records and we have these data colors. So the first thing is we will enable the data colors. And now you can see that you can expand the values in the records to see what's written in them. To do so, you click on the two arrows, click on load more. This is important to see all the columns. Then you click on OK. And then you can see here the record columns and so on. What you have to do next is you have to expand all these columns by clicking on these arrows until everything is expanded and you get these values in the columns. After doing so, you have to unpivot everything again to get a list. So you select the attributes when you did that. Go to the transform tab and go to unpivot other columns. And I will show you the ongoing process in the properties visuals table because I did not expand everything here. So I will get errors if I go on now. And the next thing what you have to do is you have to add a column that is extracting the first character of the values column by going to add column, extract first character and put a 1 in here. Then you will get the first character column, and then we will add a conditional column and say if the first character equals on hashtag, the column we want to select is the value column, and otherwise we want to have a white transparent color, which is an hashtag 6 times an F and 2 times a 0. And then we will rename that color displayed. So by doing this, are nearly already ready. The only thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we have better names here, because you can see there is always written value dot and there are some dots between the words we do not need. So we will select the first entry, copy out the value dot, select the attribute 1 column, go to transform, replace values, and replace the value dot with nothing. And the next step is we will replace dots with the space, and then we will go to format and say capitalize each word just to make the naming a little bit better. And then you can name it also name. And what I did then afterwards, I copied out this column by a right click, selected copy, go back to home, enter data, right click and paste. Then I get a column with all the attributes I had. I made a right click, duplicated the column. This is the key column, because with this key column I can connect to this table later. And here I had to give some names for the slicer. And in this column, the first thing I will do is I will replace this visual styles with nothing. Replace with nothing. Then you can see the wording is already much better. And you can see I still have some visual styles dot I need to replace also with nothing. The next thing we want to do is we want to eliminate this action button, so everything before this delimiter. To do so, we will copy the dot, the star, the dot, go to add column, we will say extract the text after the delimiter, put in the delimiter and go to advanced options, because we also want to keep text where this delimiter is not. So we have to say start from the end, please. And so we go to OK. And you can see here now that all the text at the end is kept, and this will be a much better name to filter on later. Then you can go on home and then you can rename this table to, let's say, properties visuals, and then you can see now you have a table with all the text classes and the definitions, and you have a table with all the properties for all the visuals, and you have a table where you can filter in with this column. So we will name it key column into the two tables we created now. Then you can click on close and apply. If we have a look at the data model now, we need to drag in these tables. So the properties visuals and the text classes and the color definitions and our slicer table, which was this one. And we will connect the key column and the elements table. It will be a many-to-one filter, which is perfect and shows us that what we did is working. And out of that, you can build now this dictionary for the user. For this dictionary, you go back to the report view, add a new page, and set the canvas setting to custom 1080 and 1920. And then you can build up your tables. So you can select the table, go to the text classes and definitions, can drag in the attribute and the value. And here you can see you have text classes and color definitions. We will add a new measure, which will be the displayed color, data, and text. And it's the selected value of the value in this table. So this one, we will drag this measure in, go to the cell element, select the column, and change the background settings to field value, and also the font color to field value. And now you can see you have a visualization of the color that is in the value. And what I like to do now is I like to split up the table, because I have in some text definitions which are only valid for text and the color definition. So we copy it, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and we just set a filter on it. And the filter is easy because the attribute is one times the dataColors and another time the text classes. So everything that contains text classes will be kept, and everything that do not contain text classes will be not kept. You can achieve that here. You can go on advanced filtering and say contains text classes, and here does not contain. Advanced filtering does not contain text classes. Go and apply filter, and then you can see you have here one time the colors and one time the text definitions. Make that smaller also here, because we need some space for the rest of it. And we will change the title to text definitions and here to color definitions. And we will enable the totals because we do not need them, or turn them off. So here we go. Totals turned off. The next thing we will do is we will add a slicer. So we will go for the slicer, put it here, go to the element table, and we'll take the attribute. So you can see here is the action button. It's an advanced slicer. Go to slicer settings and choose a drop down. Click on the three dots and enable the search. So users can also type in, let's say, line chart, and we will also enable the select all. Then we will go with another table, and then this table we will put the properties of the visuals. I hope we have enough space. Maybe we have to make that smaller. Maybe also that. Yeah. But you can adapt that in your dashboard how you need it. And here we will drag in for the properties visuals the slicer names, because these are the line chart labels. We will drag in here the name and the attribute, and we will drag in here the value because the value is showing the settings. Oops. And we will drag in here also the color displayed, which is also visualization of the color. So we have to go back here to the cell elements again, to the color displayed, and enable the visualization of the color by using the color just as a field value. And if you search here now for the clustered column chart, you can see all the settings that apply to the clustered column chart. And we will also turn off here the totals because we also do not need them here. And if you like, you can also add a header now, and you will see you have a cool documentation of your JSON, because if I look here at the JSON now, you can see customize current theme, and you can see that these settings are the same like here. Then you can go to the text and you can also check these settings with all the information here. And the cool thing I want to show you now is that you go to transform data, to data source settings, select the JSON file, change the source, go on browse and browse for another theme, the blue dark mode. Click on open, on OK and close. And if you refresh now, you can see that all your settings here are adapted to your JSON file. And you have also select here the blue dark mode JSON file. And you can see here already that the settings have changed and have been adapted. So if you go for a clustered bar chart, here you will see that there is nothing set, because in this theme we did not make any changes. The grid lines are kept, the data label axes are here, the category axes are here. So this is more or less the standard visual with one color, and so there is nothing adjusted because there are overall settings in the visual like category axis, and you can see here the show axis title is turned off, but the axis is shown. And you can also see for the value axis, the grid lines are showing, the grid line styles are dotted, the grid line thickness is 1, and the axis title is not shown. And this is exactly what you do see here. The titles turned off, grid lines showing, and here displaying the values without giving any data labels. So I hope I could show you how easy you can visualize your JSON settings from your Power BI theme to make it more accessible to customers, clients, or other stakeholders. So if you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up. Wish you a great day now and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.